everyone, and welcome back. Today's Friday, so that means that it's birthday day. Today we're going to be talking about the movies that came out this week 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25 years ago. So, hey, let's jump right into it. I'm one for a party, so let's start celebrating these birthdays. Excuse me. Celebrating their 5th birthday this week, we have Now You See Me and After Earth. And Now You See Me, heist movie. You know how I feel about those. All about it. It was, directed by Louis Leterrier, if I got that right. He also directed Transporter and Transporter 2. So if you enjoy those movies, the kind of non-stop action going through it, you're definitely going to enjoy this one. Stars Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Common. And it's basically a movie about this organization that picks these 4 street magicians, I guess you could call them, to pull off these different heists. And they're kind of like a magical Robin Hood. You know, they kind of take from the rich and give it to their audience, basically. They have to pull off these tasks to ultimately become part of this organization. And the twist at the end is really something. I'm not going to give it away. You're going to have to check it out yourself. Celebrating also its 5th birthday, After Earth. Directed by M. Night and stars Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith. And I thought it was a good movie. I find it very interesting. You know, Earth has become uninhabitable and humans had to leave to obviously survive. So, you know, they're off on another planet trying to get by. And Will Smith and his son are on basically like a a routine mission, I guess you could call it. And they have an accident in space. They have to land and they end up crash landing on Earth 1,000 years after everyone has left. So Will Smith gets hurt in the crash. So it's up to his son to kind of navigate this harsh environment to get to the other part of their ship, send out a beacon so that they could get help, and he can save his father's life. All while being hunted by different creatures and something that they brought along with them. Again, I enjoyed it. Other people didn't, but I like M. Night's movies. He's done great things. He's given us Unbreakable, Split. He's going to be giving us Glass, Signs, Sixth Sense. So I'm just a fan. Moving on to movie celebrating its 10th birthday this week, we have The Strangers and Sex and the City. And The Strangers, what a movie. It was directed by Brian Bertino, who basically has done just like Strangers and the sequel that they recently did. It stars Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler. And the concept of this movie, basically, you know, you go away to relax. You're out at a cabin, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and someone knocks on your door. And they start terrorizing you. Won't leave you alone. Ultimately, to the point where you break, they get in, and they kill you. What really makes it scary is it's based on true events. And just the concept, you know, there was no rhyme or reason to it. No vetting process. It was just, hey, let's knock on that door. If someone answers, let's get them. That's a scary thought. But also celebrating its 10th birthday, Sex and the City. Now, I know last week I kind of got some feedback that I should have seen all the movies I'm talking about. I have not seen Sex and the City. Um, it's really tough for me to be able to see everything that's come out every week for ever, basically. Um, but it's not that I wasn't drawn to the fact that, you know, it's Sex in the City and it could be classified a chick flick, but, you know, I saw the show. I used to watch it, so, and when I worked at the theater, I had to screen Sex in the City too, so I've seen the second one, I've seen the show, I just never saw the movie. But, hey, if you've seen it, let me know in the comment section what I've been missing out on. Moving on to the 15-year-old, we have The Italian Job. What a movie. Now, this is a rare instance where I really enjoyed the remake. It was directed by F. Gary Gray, who did Straight Outta Compton, Fate of the Furious, so big movies, enjoyable, money-making movies, and the cast is just, oh my, Mark Wahlberg, Donald Sutherland, Edward Norton, Charlize Theron, Jason Statham. Wow. And, I mean, ultimately, it's, the cast alone would bring anyone in. Anyone who knows movies, the director, F. Gary Gray, is going to bring you in. But what also brought me into it was, it's a heist movie. You know, the movie starts out with them pulling off a heist, and Edward Norton backstabs them. So now Mark Wahlberg and his crew are going after Edward Norton. And it's fun to see, you know, a battle of the wits, these two facing off, trying to one-up each other to ultimately either get away or get revenge. But if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. 15 years, still holds up today, and it's well worth it. Every time this movie's on, guarantee I'm going to be sitting there watching it. Celebrating its 20th birthday this week, we have Hope Floats with Harry Connick Jr. and Sandra Bullock. It was actually directed by Forrest Whitaker. So that kind of threw me off. I was like, wow, I just learned that recently. Because to me, Forrest Whitaker is just an amazing actor. And obviously, you know, Disney thinks so. He was in Marvel with Black Panther. He's in Star Wars with Rogue One. So he's top notch, but he was actually behind the camera this time. And it was, to me, it was a typical romance movie. You know, nothing about it. But the title, Hope Floats, really just, it's the perfect title for this movie. You know, Sandra Bullock loses everything in this movie. She loses her husband, her marriage, her mom. She has no basic work skills, so she's trying to find work. She ends up going back to her hometown and, you know, rekindling a friendship that evolves into more. But to lose everything and to still kind of hold on, have that hope, you know, hope is like the cream, it's going to rise to the top. Hope floats. And it was just a perfect title to this movie. You lose everything, you start over, you build it all back, and it's better than before, you know? Kind of like you had your rough draft, here's your final masterpiece. So, it was good. I think it was so good that anyone who says Sweet Home Alabama is not a reimagining of Hope Floats is lying to you. So many identical factors in these movies. I felt like I was watching Sweet Home Alabama when I watched it. But, again, normally we end after 20 years, but we're going to go back a little further. And mainly because the movies that came out 25 years ago, I think, are just good movies, and worth talking about. So, celebrating their 25th birthday this week, we have Cliffhanger, Made in America, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. Cliffhanger, directed by Rennie Harlin, who did Deep Blue Sea, Die Hard 2, so action movies. Stars, you know, John Lithgow is the bad guy, Sylvester Stallone, Michael Rooker, and the movie just, I mean, within the first sequence of the movie, has you on the edge of your seat and kind of like, what just happened? And basically, you know, Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rooker are mountain climbers. They also work for like a rescue unit for the Rockies. And they're off on just a climb, you know, having a good time. And Michael Rooker takes his new girlfriend, kind of showing off. During the incident, she dies. He blames Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone feels guilty. There's animosity between the two. But the fact that they have to put that aside, put differences aside, come together, rekindle that friendship to take down John Lithgow and his team for, again, another heist movie that I seriously enjoy. Millions of dollars in cash in 3 suitcases laid out in the Rockies. Everyone's trying to get their hands on it. Check it out. Oh my God, you're gonna love it. The action sequences, that beginning sequence, definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Also, Made in America, Whoopi Goldberg, Ted Danson, Nia Long, Will Smith, second movie on this list this week. Directed by Richard Benjamin, who did Mermaids and Money Pit. And it's really a good movie. It's interesting. Kind of a romance, but more, I think, of a comedy. Basically, you know, Whoopi Goldberg's daughter in the movie is Nia Long. And Whoopi Goldberg had her through artificial insemination. So Nia Long is trying to find out who her biological father is. And, you know, Whoopi Goldberg owns a store. It's an ethnic store, an African ethnic store. So Nia Long goes through these hoops to, you know, try to find out who her father is, goes to the sperm clinic, goes to the records, and through a mix-up at the clinic, she finds out her dad is Ted Danson. Whoopi Goldberg was not pleased with this in the movie because Ted Danson is white. But to see the two of them come together, and two great actors, and if you haven't seen the movie, check it out, if for nothing else but the elephant scene. Well worth it. See that movie just for that. But the way it kind of shows you, hey, come together. And, you know, color of your skin really doesn't matter. Yeah, you know, we're all the same. We're all human. We're all people. And just, the messages, the movie, check it out. And also the Super Mario Brothers movie, which had Bob Hoskins, Dennis Hopper, John Leguizamo. They really, I gotta say, they went out on a ledge with this one. The Super Mario Brothers movie is the first live-action video game movie that has ever been done. So think about how many there have been. Mario Brothers was the first one 25 years ago. The downside, They did not follow anything from the game, except for the fact that there's Mario and Luigi, and the bad guy's name is Koopa. Like, that's it. I say unfortunately because it seems that they kind of set the standard. They had an opportunity to make this movie great and follow up all video game movies with that. Kind of go on Mario Brothers' coattails. Unfortunately, the movie bombed. And every video game movie that has come out since has really not been that big of a success. Few exceptions, but ultimately they're just... The video game does amazing. People hear there's going to be a movie, they get excited, and then it's a letdown. So, I don't know. Hey, it's 25 this week. That's a milestone. Quarter of a century. You were the first. You did it before anyone, but you let us all down. But hey, if you want a good laugh, check the movie out. It's worth it just in that sense of getting a good laugh. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Celebrating these birthdays with me and with them. And, you know, be sure to like this video, subscribe, share the video. Hey, you can find me on Instagram simply at Christopher Lafont. Just posting little pictures, things that I'm doing. And get ready because we're going to be having a non-spoiler review of the movie Upgrade. And in a few days, after I've given everyone a chance to watch it over the weekend, we're going to have a spoiler review of Upgrade. So be on the lookout for those on this channel. And until then, take care.